All right, so good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Today we are beginning the male reproductive system. We talked about how we're starting a new unit today. I've been talking about that for a while now, right? Another reminder is your test is still enabled for you to complete, and it is due Thursday of next week. So please don't wait till the last minute. Get it done. You're going to have a total of a week and a half to do it, so get it done. So what we are going to do, we are going to go over, oh, sorry, my computer just went nuts. We're going to go through about 10 or so parts of the male reproductive system. And in addition to that, we will go through a few other words that we need to learn about the male reproductive system. And I'm really going to want like some help here because, gentlemen, they're your bodies. You guys can help us out. I'm going to try my best to make you all feel uncomfortable, and we can have some fun today. Okay. This is key for your notes. So those of you who have struggled thus far, whether it be first marking period, second marking period, over the last couple of weeks during this marking period to kind of be organized, again, in starting a new unit, it is your chance to redeem yourself. It is your chance to start fresh. Or for those of you who have been on the right track doing what you have to do, continue, okay? The male reproductive system is on its way. So let's talk about the balls. This really isn't going that well, seeing as though it's a Zoom, but I'm going to pretend like you guys are laughing out there. And if any of you guys are in your house and your parents are right behind you, like, what is it you guys are learning? It's going to be funny. So the testicles, okay, known as the balls, okay, also known as testes. So testicles, testes, balls, all the same thing, right? What are these, gentlemen? I got 3 boys in front of me. What are they? Your balls. What are they? I don't know. Just your balls is what Joey says. Anyone at home want to unmute yourself and maybe take a wild guess? Nobody wants to talk? Of course we don't, because we don't want to talk normally, so let alone talk about this kind of stuff. So there are 2 large glands that descend into the scrotum, which is, so what's the scrotum? It's the ball sack, okay? So this part is kind of like, yeah, okay, what about it though, right? The testicles or the balls actually produce some things, all right? They produce the male sex hormone. What is the name of the male sex hormone? What is the main?
Testosterone.
Who said
that? Paladin.
Yes. Known as testosterone. Well done. All right. So females have testosterone too. They just have way lower levels. And that's really just the biggest difference between male and female bodies and brains. Yes. Absolutely, I can. Is that good? Yeah, good. All right. Absolutely. And females have a different hormone. Anyone know the name of the female hormone? Starts with an E.
Estrogen?
Yes, estrogen. Males also have estrogen, just lower levels, right? So if this is testosterone and this is estrogen, right? Male have higher testosterone and lower estrogen, and then females have higher estrogen and low testosterone. But we all have both. Okay. The testicles also produce and store the sex cell known as what? What is the male sex cell? Does anyone know? It's a little swimmers. What are the little swimmers called, Joey?
Sperm.
Yes, Joey's on it. All right, yes. Here, look at that. Perfect. Okay, testosterone, the male sex hormone. Sperm is the male sex cell. It's the male reproductive cell. Here. All right. Cool. Any questions there? Good. So I talked about this word here, right? The scrotum. What did I say the scrotum was? Anyone?
The ball sack.
Yeah, the ball sack. Come on, guys. Let's have some fun with this. This is the best. This is good stuff. You guys are writing notes for your life. Life notes, right? Could you imagine if like you get older, like you go on a date and you're like, take out a piece of paper and you're like, well, did you know? Okay. So the scrotum, right? It's the pouch. It's the pouch behind the penis that stores the testicles, right? It holds and protects the testicles, contains the testicles, right? And it also provides protection for them, right? And it regulates temperature. Why is that important? Because the testicles have to be a certain temperature. Okay? It actually has to be about like 1.5 to 2 degrees lower than the rest of the body. So all you guys really have to know is that the scrotum regulates temperature, okay? Because the testicles have to be a certain degrees lower. They have to be cooler than the rest of the body, okay? Because these little guys, little spermies, right? Little swimmers, they cannot live, they can only live in certain environments. Does that make sense? Look how nice he is. All right? They can only live in certain environments. So let me explain a little bit about what that environment means, okay? So the scrotum also contains sweat glands that will sweat freely whenever it needs to. No control, dudes. I'm trying to be funny here. Gentlemen, you have no control over this. So if it gets too warm, if the scrotum or your area, you know, you're going for a run, you're outside in the heat, and that area gets too warm, the sweat glands will sweat freely whenever it needs to. No control over that. It just happens. All right? And because it's warm, it'll actually, the muscles will relax and move the scrotum away from the body so it can kind of cool off. All right? And so these muscles, when it's cold, it'll do what? And we learn this during the muscular system. I use the term relax to move it away from the body. So what happens when it's cold? The muscles will do what?
Contract.
Yes. Contract or tighten, right? Which brings the scrotum and the testicles closer to the body. which will increase the temp, make it warmer, right? So that's why, you know, sometimes when it gets really cold, things get a little smaller. This is so weird on Zoom. I'm used to like people laughing or hee hee, this is awkward. Guess not. Maybe you're laughing at home. Who knows? Or you're laughing at me. Whatever. Do we understand? Are there any questions with that? This explanation about how the temperature works in the scrotum is, I would say it's fairly important. Maybe a little star next to that explanation, right? Sounds like a really good question. How does the scrotum regulate temperature? Sounds like a really good question. Little star, circle, right? Then we have what's called the epididymis. Nope. Epididymis. There it is. Spam risk. Stop calling me. So this is just a funky word, and there's a lot involved with the epididymis, but don't worry too much about it. All you have to know about the epididymis is that it's found on top of the testicles. That's it. And sperm will pass through it. Just know where it is. That'll help you later on. Then we have what's called the vas deferens. Sounds fancy, right? Now, this little letter here, S, will help you remember that there's two. All right? Vas deferens. It sounds plural, right? And it is. There are tube-like structures that carry sperm. Sperm pass through here. So again, not much to really know about the vas deferens. All you really have to know about vas deferens is that sperm will go from the testicles through the vas deferens to get somewhere else. And we're going to learn about the entire process of where sperm start, where they end, where they go. All right? Any questions? Seminal vesicles is the next one. Seminal vesicles. That's how you spell that or pronounce that. But before I get to this word, I should talk about this word. And that is this. Semen. Come on, guys. What's another word for semen?
Sperm.
Sperm. I'll give sperm as part of semen. Penis. Sperm pass through the penis. Tell me what semen is, gentlemen. Maybe some of you don't know yet. Oh, boom. See, these jokes would really hit if like we were in school. This is just awkward. No one wants to talk about semen. All right, there's 3 parts to semen. The first part is sperm. We already talked about that. Okay? The other part is there's 2 more parts, and they're both fluid. And we're going to talk about like what fluid. All right? And the first one is fluid from the seminal vesicles. Okay. And then this third part, we'll get there in a few minutes. We'll go back to that part. And why did I star this? Because it's important. So the seminal vesicles. Well, you know there's fluid that come out of them. I just wrote that up here, right? So what is it? Okay. So seminal vesicles. Yes. What do you mean? No, this is what I'm gonna do right now. So sperm, right? If we're talking about reproduction, right? I mean, that's what, we talk about. You have sex to have a baby, because no one has sex if you don't want a baby, right? Of course. Man, tough crowd. So sperm, they have a long journey. They got to get from the testicles through a bunch of different stuff to get through the penis to try and get into the female to try and find the egg, boom, and get pregnant. That's the goal of sperm. Hello, right? That's a long journey. That takes a lot of time, right? So it really needs to be strong. Sperm really needs help, okay? And the seminal vesicles, what they do is they secrete or they release a liquid during ejaculation, which we'll talk about in a minute, okay? And so they release a fluid that gives sperm nutrients. Simple form, okay? In simplest terms. It's like a sugary fluid. It's a sugary fluid that adds nutrients and nutrition for the sperm. All right? So that's going to help the sperm on their long quest to reach the egg. So that's why it's part of semen. Well, if we're talking about semen and we're talking about this fluid, I mean, we got to talk about ejaculation. It's another word for ejaculation. Some of these, they don't know. They're not there yet in their life. It's okay. Come on, guys, help me out. Help me out. Come on. What does ejaculation mean?
Ejaculation is when everything comes out.
Come. Yeah, jizz. What else we got? That's it? Come on. Every year they love to talk about this stuff. It's a little awkward at first, but then it gets fun. Why are you guys so scared to talk about this stuff? Come on. All right, we'll just be boring. Ejaculation is the release of semen from the penis. It's when a male comes. The release of semen from the penis is ejaculation. During ejaculation, semen is released from the penis, which is sperm, fluid from the seminal vesicles, sperm, fluid from the seminal vesicles, and then one more thing. And the last thing is fluid from the prostate gland. Semen is sperm, fluid from the seminal vesicles, and fluid from the prostate gland. And I'm going to explain to you what fluid from the prostate gland is. So it's different than the seminal vesicles. The seminal vesicles helps the sperm, right? It helps the sperm on their journey and it gives them nutrition. Okay? Prostate gland does something else. We talked about how sperm has a long journey, okay? And it is a downward battle for these sperm because I'll tell you what, once reaching the female's vagina, oh, I said vagina, uh-oh, now we're getting really uncomfortable. Females' vaginas are extremely an uncomfortable area for sperm to be. And I always explain it like this, and you guys might think I'm crazy, you might laugh, but you will remember this. A female's vagina is like a battlefield. Anything that comes in there is just gonna attack. Attack, 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 kill, 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 kill. Some of the guys are like, I get it now. That's why girls are, no, I'm kidding. So it's true. Females' vaginas are like battlegrounds, and they really try and protect their body as much as possible. So anything that comes in, they will try to attack. Females' vaginas are also very acidic. Very acidic. And sperm, they cannot live in an acidic environment. All right? So what does the prostate gland do? The prostate gland during ejaculation will release a fluid that when that enters into the female's vagina, it neutralizes or calms the acidity of the female vagina. Okay? So if you remember that the vagina is like a battlefield, and I say it like that as a joke, right? But it kind of makes sense, right? Sperm can't live in acidic environments. Not many things can. So it makes sense. So the prostate gland is extremely important. It's very important for it to work. It releases a fluid that neutralizes or calms down, lowers the acidity of the female's vagina, which is why this fluid is also part of semen. Yeah, Joey.
I have a question about sex.
Okay. I love questions about sex.
So, like, I know you can't, but, like, what is the reasoning why you can't get pregnant from anal?
Great question. I love that you asked that. So, Joey asked a really good question. He said, I know that you can't, but why can't a woman get pregnant from anal sex? The reason is because anal sex is part of the digestive system. The butt, the anus, if you go from the anus inwards, you're going into the large intestines, which is the digestive system, not the reproductive system. Okay? That's a great question. So there's your answer. That's why. Also, to let you know, the rectum, which is the last little bit of the large intestines, which is what you enter after going into the anus, the butthole, which is called the rectum, is not actually made. It's very thin. The membrane of the rectus, it's very thin. So it's very important to be safe and careful if doing that. There's a lot of things that could happen wrong. Okay? That's a very good question, though. Are there any questions right now? So here's the thing. In the past, pre-COVID, of course, in the front of the room, I would always have a basket. And the basket would be empty at the start of class. And every class throughout the entire unit of the reproductive system, I would allow kids to write down a question anonymously without writing their name. And they would, roll it up. And at the end of class, they would just throw it in there on their way out. Any type of question that people are wondering. People get nervous, people get awkward, uncomfortable, maybe talking about this stuff, but everyone's wondering something. Everyone's curious about something, whether it be their body, whether it be something happening to them, whether it be about sex, and they want to ask the question, but they're scared. So one thing that I've done is I've allowed people to write these anonymous questions. And then at the end of the unit, we sit and I go over every single question and I answer every single question. And then that way people feel more comfortable because they know like, okay, no one knows that that was for me and that the teacher doesn't know either. So then I was thinking, okay, how can I do that this year and make sure that you guys know it's anonymous? So what I thought of doing is creating a Google form. And if I make it so that it's completely anonymous, I won't see an email, I won't see anything attached to this, I won't ask you for your name. The only thing that I will see is the question and the time that it was sent, but I won't know anything else. And it's not connected to Schoology. So the link will be on Schoology, but it's not connected there. So I'm going to do that. Now, last year, COVID hit, right? Right during this time. And I thought, man, that sucks because every single year I always get kids tell me, I really love the end of the unit when you answered all the questions because I learned the most from that because it was real questions from kids that are just scared to ask. Unfortunately, because of COVID and everything that happened, and then we were asynchronous at the end of last year, right? So it was really hard to get people to participate. I didn't get that many questions and it really sucked. And then when I opened up a Zoom to answer all those questions, I only had like 4 people. Now that we're synchronous and we're live, I'm hoping in doing that Google form that more and more of you will opt into asking those questions and that we can actually do that. Because I'll tell you, 10 years of teaching, every year I always get kids say that they learned a lot. They really did. And what's sad is that there's some questions that you really should know the answer to. And you guys would be surprised how many people just don't know about their own bodies. So I'm going to open that up again at some point in the next week or so. I'll let you guys know, of course. We are going to stop here today. Okay? Let me kind of just show you this. Yes. Oh gosh. I can't answer that question. No. So this is what we went over so far. There are a few more parts to the male reproductive system that we will be continue and finish off on Tuesday and go over. All right. There was a lot of information today. It was a lot of information today. I don't want to go too far, too crazy, too in depth. I want to give you guys a moment to breathe, a moment to kind of take this all in. I really hope that you all took your time to take these notes and do what you guys need to do to better yourselves moving forward. Are there any questions?